Hi there. This is a quick catch-all news update for a couple of topics which came up this past week related to House of the Dragon. Mostly for former stars of the first half of Season 1, Millie Alcock and Emily Carey, who were young Rhaenyra and young Alicent. Let me go through this. There were two pieces of news for Millie Alcock, who, as we've already reported, was cast as the new Supergirl in the rebooted DC cinematic universe now led by James Gunn. They said she will be Supergirl and she will be headlining her own movie, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which is slated to come out in 2026. Now, first piece of news is they posted the first day of filming image of her from behind sitting in her chair on set, but in front of her is a recognizable set from the comic they're directly adapting, the Woman of Tomorrow storyline. Award-winning storyline, I've already talked about that. It's sort of like True Grit, where she's dealing with survivor guilt, and she goes to this, because the only way for her to get drunk is because it's her birthday, and she's commiserating over that she lost her family, so she goes to a planet with a red sun so she can get drunk at an alien bar, and then picks up this kid, and they start fighting this nemesis, and all this stuff happens. That's a shot of the alien bar, which is from this famous shot from the comics. So filming has officially started on that. It is due next year, 2026. Second thing related to Alcock, which is exciting and new, is no, we won't have to wait that long to see her as Supergirl. They have confirmed that she will make an appearance, at least, in the Superman movie that is coming July 11th. That she'll be in that as Supergirl. This is the first movie kicking off the rebooted DC cinematic universe. She will make an appearance in that, even though her own headline movie is coming next year. So that's pretty nice. We don't have to wait that long. Another piece of info for the DC reboot, by the way, related to Game of Thrones stuff. They cast Jason Momoa again. Because he was Aquaman, they cast him, but as a different character. In the reboot, he's playing Lobo, the bounty hunter. And they also said he will at least make a cameo in the Superman movie, coming in July. So that's a lot to look forward to with that. The other news, just in terms of related fantasy crossover projects, Emily Carey is voicing a major character in the upcoming animated Witcher movie that is coming out on Netflix next week. Witcher Sirens of the Deep. That she plays the mermaid princess Shians. It's just, we get a lot of really good info from Witcher fan site Redanian Intelligence, so I like to pay it forward with them that for the purposes of that project, they give us a lot of good news because they have a lot of industry contacts, and they said, oh cool, Emily Carey is going to be the mermaid princess, Shianaz. So she's in there, she doesn't speak English at first. Another fantasy project, we like to see how Emily is doing. And having covered all three of those veterans and what they're doing, one other piece of House of the Dragon news is I'm going to make a after-action report when award season is done, but through third week of February, there's the last set of awards that we're ever really up for. And I knew it wouldn't win Best Season, because, the strike affected the season. But, we got snubbed at the Golden Globes, even though, as they say, Emma Darcy, they were slaying on it was a really cool red carpet look. Apart from that, we got snubbed at the Golden Globes. We were lucky to get in the first time, snubbed at the Critics Awards. The Saturn Awards were last weekend, which were for sci-fi and fantasy as a whole. And while no actors won, I was pleasantly surprised that House of the Dragon Season 2 actually did win Best Fantasy TV Series. Which is nice, but it's the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Awards, which means they have a lot of subcategories. Like, the Costumers Guild Awards have a combined sci-fi and fantasy thing, or some other awards might include period work, like Shogun is a period drama, sometimes not. For an actual sci-fi fantasy awards show, they have a lot of subcategories, like Best Horror Show, Best period thing, Best Sci-Fi, Best Fantasy, so it had the benefit of it wasn't competing against any of the really heavy hitters, because they're all in their own category. The specific nominees that they were up against were like Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Percy Jackson thing is good, but it's a kid show. Spiderwick Chronicles. The only serious competition was Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, and as I've said on my channel, I honestly thought Rings of Power Season 2 was better than House of the Dragon in terms of relative to itself. Again, it wasn't affected by the strike, we were. So now I feel bad that I wanted Emma Darcy to win. I didn't want to beat Lord of the Rings at this, in which they had actually a much improved season. I talked about this more like 2 weeks ago in my top of 2025 thing, where I had my own little, these are the awards I would give for like most improved show, and I please check that out, I'll link to it. I openly said this was a better season than we had because we had external problems. But that's going on with these other cast members who are now moving on to other projects. I'm really happy for that sometimes you're in a one-shot and then someone's career goes nowhere. To see that this is how Millie Alcock was found. She was on Australian TV, but wasn't known internationally. And that I'd like going through reactor channels who were late to the game on season 1, who didn't cover it live, but were covering it in 2023, like right after it was announced Millie would be Supergirl, and them pointing out, oh, she's that person I saw in that news post that she'll be Supergirl. That more people know about, like, Superman movies than ever watch TV fantasy series like House of the Dragon. So I'm happy that I really hope her career is going somewhere with that. I mean, it already is somewhere. I'm just hoping that she gets to stay in for, like, as many movies as, like, Scarlett Johansson was Black Widow for a decade. I really hope that they have a series of movies and ongoing things, that it's not just a one-and-done, one-shot Supergirl movie, but we get a trilogy or something. We'll see how that goes, but she's really good. I'm happy they found her. And crossover from our corporate family of WB who own both DC Comics and HBO. So I'm just happy for them that they were both in the news in the same week for new projects they're doing.